Hi everyone. Hope everyone is having a great time and getting ready for Pesach, cleaning up the house, buying all the food that's needed, getting the matzahs in the marrow, making sure all the dishes are kosher Pesach, and doing it with simcha, doing it with joy, anticipation, getting ready for Pesach itself, because the night of redemption is about to come. And then the Seder comes, and you're sitting with your family and friends, and you're participating in the Seder and saying all the wonderful things in the Haggadah, and having a spiritual, amazing awakening, a re-experience, a rejuvenation, a redemption of your soul, of yourself and your people. But suppose you are on a desert island. You are a Robinson Crusoe, a castaway, and no one was there. Could you still do Pesach? Could you still muster the stamina and the joy to fulfill the mitzvahs of that wonderful night? Or suppose it might be your last Pesach. So let me tell you a story. 70 years ago, just before the War of Independence, Jerusalem was under siege. After the UN declared Jewish statehood, the Arabs of Palestine started to attack the Jews, and they made a siege around Jerusalem. 100,000 Jews could not get food or water. I know very well because my family endured that siege. My aunts and uncles tell me about this terrible siege. And the Pamach, that was the commander force, the spirit force of the Haganah, was given the task to break through the siege. My father, a great Pamach warrior, was one of the first people to break through the siege. There was a battle about to occur Pesach Day, the Battle of Katamon. That's in the southern part of Jerusalem. And if you captured Katamon, you capture all western Jerusalem. Now my father knew that may be his last day. And he told me the story, what he did. He was 19 years old. It was Erev Pesach. He snuck into Jerusalem and he carried 4 chickens on his back, 4 live chickens, to bring to the Pesach table. And as he walked into Jerusalem, unfortunately 1 chicken died. So now he had 3 chickens. And his family, my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunts and uncles, were enjoying the Seder night. And in walks my father with the chickens, and my grandparents were elated. They couldn't believe that their son was here. He had broken through the siege. He snuck in through the siege and came to the wonderful Seder, and everyone was dancing and happy and hugging my father and kissing my father. And no one knew that the next day my father was going to go to the Battle of Katamon. But my father knew. Can you imagine that? Where did my father get this spiritual strength to come into Seder night, carrying those chickens, to make sure that his family would have food for the Seder, and also to partake in the joy of his family, even though it might have been his last Seder. 19 years old. Amazing, isn't it? That story has an impact on me. It shows that you have to take the moment, enjoy the moment, realize the moment, get into the moment. Forget about tomorrow. It's today. It's the mitzvah of understanding the redemption of Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, and they were part of it, who are continuing a chain. And even tomorrow may not come. Hopefully it will. But even it may not come, the mitzvah of the moment, to partake in Pesach itself, to be spiritually redeemed, is incredible. In Bereshit, there's a story of Noah, and it says, these are the generations of Noah, and then it lists Noah's children. So Rashi, the great commentator, says, why does it first talk about the generations of Noah, his deeds, and then his children? And Rashi tells us because his deeds were his children. In other words, the deeds you do are your legacy. They affect people. They affect the environment. They affect the spiritual energy of the universe. They affect all the Jewish people and the world too. There's an amazing story about Marlon Brando, who was invited to a Pesach Seder. A non-Jewish man who loved the Jewish people. He was invited to the Seder. 20 years later, he called his friend. And he said, you know, Lou, that Seder that you invited me to 20 years ago, I still think about. I still remember it because it had such a spiritual impact upon me. And that's the point of Seder. That night, wherever you are, by yourself, with a friend, with your loved one, with your children, with your family, you're never alone. Because your spirit is with you, your soul is with you, and all 3,500 years of Your family's legacy is with you. Prepare and do Pesach night as if it was your last, because guess what? The Shana B'Av Yerushalayim, next in Jerusalem, it'll be your first Pesach again. Have a wonderful, wonderful Pesach. Chag Sameach.